Hi, Wicked Witch of LA here, and thank you so much for joining me on today's video. So today I want to talk about a limpia, probably like you saw on the title. So a limpia is essentially a Mexican folk cleansing. It's the cleansing methods, I can't speak today. The cleansing methods that happen a lot in brujeria in Mexico, as well as Mexican-American brujeria. Now, it's a really strong and it's a really effective way of cleansing your home. I do these at least once a week for my home. You can do them as often as need be and as elaborate as you want them. So limpias could be used for a wide range of reasons. You can use them for general cleansing. You can use them for exorcising spirits. You can use limpias for breaking and reversing hexes, and the list goes on. As long as it has to do with a form of cleansing, you can definitely do a limpia with this. Now, one of the things with limpias that I like to tell people is you can perform a limpia, because I know cultural appropriation is, we always want to be appropriate with the cultures that, if we're using a practice from them. Now, brujeria, and because I know I haven't really spoken too much on my YouTube channel on this, brujeria is Mexican witchcraft. Now, if you don't want to be culturally appropriate my culture, and you want to practice something from brujeria, like a spell or something that I give you, I'm only going to share things with you that I'm okay with you practicing as well, in my opinion. Now, it's very okay to practice something from brujeria, like a spell that, especially if someone is openly sharing it, as long as you pay homage and you respect and you honor the heritage of where it comes from. So I'm going to share with you my limpia and how I do my Mexican style cleansing. All I ask is, of course, that when you are doing these things, always pay homage, respect, and acknowledge. Don't try to turn it into something that is your own and something that is, I know that sounds awful, but try not to turn this into something it's not. A limpia is, it's Hispanic Latinx culture. It's part of my country's witchcraft. So leave brujeria as it is. Leave brujeria like it looks like. That is a way that you can honor this country and not appropriate the culture. To go ahead and continue now that we got that disclaimer out of the way. So I'm going to do a very basic limpia, very, very simple, very, very easy. Again, this is something that I do every week, either on Sundays or Mondays. Pretty much at the beginning of the week, whatever your week ends on, doesn't matter. So the ingredients are pretty simple, pretty easy to come by. Now, one thing I do want to say is that you do have the option to include your deities or spirits in this, like your ancestors. You can include spirit guides, angels, whatever you want. With me, I am going to include of course, my Santa Muerte is always going to be with me. And it's not necessary to include deities and spirits into a limpia, although you can call upon them for assistance. One of the things, though, is if you are doing a limpia, I highly recommend that you use either deities or spirits that relate to the origins of this country. That is a very important piece to know. If you don't really work with any of the saints from Hispanic and Latinx culture, or gods, goddesses from the Aztec or any of the Mesoamerican pantheon, you can just work with the spirits of the plants themselves. The ingredients that I'm using today, you can just work with the spirits, those spirits. And honestly, that's all you need, really. Everything else is just being extra. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to start off. So the first thing you're going to need is a bowl, preferably a fire-safe bowl, because we are going to be putting a candle in this. So something that is fire-safe. This is a wooden bowl, so it's not very fire-safe, but trust me, this is just for show and tell. And you are going to need salt as well. Now, we all know that salt is a powerful cleansing agent. Salt is very grounding as well. So not only does it absorb and really just detach negative energy from you, but it's a grounding as well. This is a very important factor in all of your limpias, that you want to be grounded. You want to be nice and centered so you can be focused. You're also going to need a white candle. Now, in brujeria, a white candle is very reminiscent of purity, cleansing. It is very reminiscent of attracting blessings as well. So this is definitely going to be a must. You're also going to need a lime. Now, limes, if you have not been using limes in your witchcraft, you need to run to the store like right now and get yourself some limes. These are amazing in all forms of cleansing. I mean, yeah, these are fantastic. You're basically going to take the lime and you're going to slice it up into 5 slices. And what's really great about limes is that not only are they a powerful cleanser, and I mean powerful cleanser. This is some of the best things you'll ever use. You can apply limes to anything. I mean, if you're taking like a spiritual bath, you can take a lime and squeeze a couple drops of the juice into your bath, and it is extremely, extremely cleansing. Or even just slice it up and put the slices into your bath. These are also great for hex breaking and hex reversal. And this is why I like to imply this, that if there's any spells or any hexes that whether I did to myself, because sometimes we do hex ourselves without knowing, or if somebody did cast an unwanted spell, because not all spells put on you are negative. Maybe somebody put a prosperity spell, or maybe they're sending energy your way, but it's unwanted, you just don't want it. A lime will take care of it. So again, really great for cleansing and purification. It's really good for breaking and reversing spells put on you. They are really great for hexing as well. I know we're not doing anything that relates to hexing, but it's something to put out there. You know, it's really great for putting curses on people, but we're not doing that today. We're also going to use some sage. Now, sage is, oh my God, amazing. This is one of the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plant spirits I have ever worked with. I do my best to keep a good relationship with spirits of sage. Where I come from, in my country, in my roots, especially things like white sage and other species of sage, they're seen as sacred, holy plants. So this is something that you really, really, really want to respect. And again, going back to like cultural appropriation, if you're someone who does not feel comfortable using like things like white sage, this is just garden sage. This is sage that I have in my own garden, so I can just, I'll just take clippings from that and dry them out. But you can also just go to your grocery store, your local grocery store, most likely in the fresh produce aisle, will have fresh herbs available. You can use that. Or in the spices and herbs section, you can probably find powdered sage also. Now, sage is really, really great for blessing your home. It's a great blesser. It's great for attracting healing, and it's really fantastic for cleansing as well. It's wonderful at cleansing, especially at self-inflicted things. That's a really good thing to know, because a lot of times we're the source of our own negativity. So if you feel like you've been the source of your negativity, you're bringing in that negative energy and it's no one else, this is really, really good for things that are self-inflicted. It's really good, again, for healing, for picking up the pieces spiritually. And the reason why I want an herb in here, a plant that is great for healing, is because a lot of times when we're bringing home negative things from outside or stressful situations, a lot of times because we're living in that situation, it hurts us. It damages our spirit. It damages our energy. And once you do the cleansing, you need to rebuild that up. You need to get your spirit back up to health. You need to get your energy, your heart, your mind back into good health. Sage is really good for that. It builds you up again. It builds up your spirit. It builds up your energy. It heals all the wounds that, honestly, in the spiritual realm, we don't always see. We don't always acknowledge they're there. But a lot of times we know this is happening if you're acting out a lot in anger, if you feel like you've been more sad than usual, if your depression's hitting you really, really hard, if you feel more anxious than usual, if there's just a lot of little, kind of like big things, but also just like a lot of little things happening at once that are coming from you, a lot of times sage will be your answer for that. I'm also going to be using mint. Now, mint is a good cleanser, but it's an amazing road opener. Whenever you're doing cleansings, you really want something that kind of opens the road and opens up your home to receive blessing. So we have sage here because sage is a good blessing. Mint is really good for just opening that path and really allowing yourself in your home to absorb blessings, to really attract and bring in positive energies. It's also really good for rest. Mint is amazing for easing. So we're cleansing our home, but we're also going to ease the home. We're going to get things to relax and to calm down also. So this is really, really good for that. My favorite ingredients for all my cleansing purposes, this is going to be like almost essential for limpias, is copal. Now there's different types of copal. If you don't know what copal is a resin. It's native to, again, to the Latinx and Hispanic areas, Mexico, Baja California, as well as South America. Copal is powerful. This is, again, considered a very sacred plant. When you are working with sacred plants, you want to make sure you're not kind of like using them daily. I use Copal a lot in my practices, but it's also a big part of my culture, a big part of my practice. But because it is a sacred plant, you do want to show a lot of respect to it. You do want to give it a lot of honor. You do want to give it, again, a lot of respect. Use it when needed, if that makes sense. You know, you don't want to overuse it like it's just any other plant, like, because again, this is considered sacred in my country. So Copal is powerful in purification. In a lot of Mesoamerican tribes and groups, Copal was used for a lot of purification and cleansing ceremonies. We're using it for the same reason today. We still use it. So again, powerful for purification. Copal is one of your best friends. Now, purification is a little bit different from cleansing. Purification, it goes that extra mile. It really gets out the hidden gunk that's inside of our home, inside of our bodies, inside of our spirits. When you clean your home, let's say you're mopping the floor, sometimes there's like corners that you just can't get to, or little areas under the fridge that you just can't quite get to. Copal is one of those things that's really going to sweep out under those areas that we're not aware of. Sweep out those areas where there may be stagnant or negative energies, unwanted energies that are hiding. Copal is really good for purifying those out of your home. It's an all-purpose purifier in my eyes, so it's really great for getting rid of spirits, getting rid of pretty much any level of negative energy. Very powerful, and it also attracts good spirits. This is also a great offering for spirits, especially spirits that come from the Hispanic Latinx culture, like the saints and gods and goddesses, figures like Santa Muerte, for example. It makes a great offering. So not only does it purify the negativity and the evil, but it also brings in really positive vibrations and good spirits. As witches, we do want to make sure that we are surrounded by good spirits as well. Now, what I did is with the herbs, the sage, the mint, and the copal, is I actually ground them up and powdered them. Now, I'm not going to dress the candle with it. Once I have everything set up, I'm going to take the powder and I'm going to sprinkle it over everything. So that's a really fantastic thing about powders. I will make a video about powders later on, because they're amazing to use, because you literally just grab and you just on whatever you want, and it's amazing. Very simple. Now, one more thing I want to share before I get straight into the Limpia is it is really important that when you're doing a Limpia, you know exactly what you're targeting. You want to know exactly why you're doing the Limpia and what it is that you're trying to cleanse. That is a very, very, very important thing that we need to know. And this can translate to any form of cleansing, regardless of what culture you're from. You want to know what you're cleansing. The reason being is that if you don't know what you're cleansing, you don't know what you're targeting, you cannot guarantee that that's not going to come back, or that you're even cleansing it out in the first place. Now, I'm using general cleansers, so this is a really nice way of pretty much getting a little kind of general everything. But again, even if you're using general ingredients like I am right now, you still want to know what you're cleansing out. You know, for me, I had a really rough, stressful week at work. So I want to specifically cleanse negativity, negative thoughts. I want to cleanse out depression, depressive energies, because sometimes a hard week at work can leave you a little depressed. I want to cleanse that out as well. I want to cleanse out any anger and frustration that came home with me as a result of working in a hectic environment. So that's what we want to do. You want to make sure you are targeting that. Once you light your candle and you are speaking over it for the cleansing, for the Limpia, you want to make sure that we are speaking those. I cleanse, I purify, and I cast out negativity, the anger that I brought home with me. I want to cast out, the negative energy from an argument I had, for example. So that's up to you. If you're not really sure exactly what you're cleansing, or you're like, well, I don't really know what I need to clean specifically, take time, breathe, meditate. It'll come to you, and you'll be able to see what it is that you need to cleanse out of your home. And if there wasn't really anything big or crazy that happened, but you still want to cleanse your home, you can still do this. Again, this is a good general cleanser to just, boom, give your home a good refresh. We're going to go ahead and start with the Limpia. So I'm going to go ahead and pan the camera down a little bit so you can look at the workspace, and then we'll take it from there. As you can see, I've got my bowl right here, and I've already filled up my my bowl with salt. You don't have to fill it to the brim, just enough where the salt can hold a candle still. It just fell, but that was because I was moving. Now, one of the important things that we need to do is that you want to make sure that whenever you're using natural organic elements, not organic like no pesticides, but like you're using things that are straight from the earth, things like salt that we get from the earth and plants like the herbs and the lime, whatever. You want to make sure that you take time to thank them and you bless them. It's really important that we work with this. We work with the spirits. We're not just telling them what to do. You're not commanding the spirits to, to cleanse your home and whatnot. You're working with them. You're building a good relationship with them. So I already took time to bless the plants, to bless the salt, and to thank them as well for being with me in my spell. Now, what you're going to do is you take your salt, you put it in, and you're going to take your 5 slices of lime. Now, there's a reason why we're doing 5, because it's the 5 points of the pentagram, the 5 elements. We have earth, wind, fire, water, and spirit. The way this translates is that 1, all these elements are present here. You have water within the lime. You have fire from the candle. You have air that is interacting with the flame of the candle. You have earth in the salt. And then spirit, of course, we are cleansing in spirit as well. So you're going to take your 5 limes and you're going to place them in a circle around your salt. Just like that. With that, you're going to take your candle. Now this candle I have already cleansed. Make sure to always cleanse and consecrate your candles beforehand. It is not hard. A nice simple cleansing will do. So you're going to light your candle. I'm not going to light it right now. I'm going to do it myself later. But you're going to basically light your candle and put it in the center of your work. Now remember, the copal, the sage, and the mint, I mentioned earlier, you want to grind it up into a powder. So I already took my mortar and pestle and I already ground this up. This is stuff that I've had left over from other workings. This is pretty much a cleansing powder. And you're just going to take this and you're going to sprinkle it around your work. Sprinkle it onto the limes, onto the salt. You can even put some onto the candle. What you do at this point is that once your candle is lit, you're going to take time and you're going to speak and pray over your work. This is a very, very, very important step. A lot of young witches or new witches, we tend to forget that sometimes we want the plants, we expect the spirits to do the work for us, but you need to realize that you have your own voice, you have your own authority. Your voice and your words have so much power in them. So we want to make sure that we're speaking verbally over our work. If for any reason you cannot speak, or if speech is not something in your artillery, sign it. You can sign it. You can write it down and have it as a petition, 100%. But your communication, your form of communication has power. So once this candle is lit, I'm going to take my time to just speak over it. You can say something along the lines of, I bless and cleanse my home of negativity. I cast out any negative spirits. I break any hexes right now that are in my home or over my life, and I choose to open the roads for my home to receive blessings. I receive blessings. I receive a clean, purified home, yada, yada, yada. Come up with your own mantra. Make it very personal. Remember, you're cleansing your home, so make it personal to your home, to your space, to yourself. And that's pretty much it, that is your limpia. You're going to go ahead and let that candle burn all the way down. Once the candle is burnt all the way down, you can actually take these remnants and you can trash them. Now, a lot of times organic matter, you can throw it out into nature and let it decompose. Here's the thing, because there's salt in this, I am not going to take this out to nature because salt will prevent plants from growing in that spot wherever it lands. So we want to make sure that with this specifically, you want to just toss it into the garbage, throw it away, toss it in your trash and then take it out, or just take it to the nearest, to a dumpster, preferably outside of your home. And that is pretty much it, my witches. All right, I'm a little bit more zoomed in now than I was before at the beginning, but that is it, my witches. That was a nice and simple limpia for you. Now, there are many, many types of limpias. There's water limpias, fire limpias. There's something called a barrida, which is where you do a sweep cleansing. And I'm definitely going to make a few more videos on that in the future on different types of limpias and how to approach them. This is just something very simple, very basic and easy that you can do if you are interested in practicing something from brujeria. Now, again, if you feel like this is something that you're appropriating, or like, for example, if you're not from my culture, that is okay. I'm giving you permission to use this limpia. Use it as long as you're being respectful and honorable of the culture. All right, my witches, we are all set. I don't think I really have any big announcements right now. If you haven't checked out my Etsy store yet, definitely check that out. I'll leave a link down below for my Etsy shop. I do have a couple, not a whole lot, but there are a couple good listings in there. Things do tend to fly off the shelf pretty quickly, so make sure to grab a few things while you can. And definitely expect more listings to come up. If you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I don't know what you're doing. You need to hit that like and subscribe button, share this video with your friends. I know I mentioned last time, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna start posting way more often now, and I never did. Ignore those words. I'm gonna post videos when I can, but I will update on my Instagram when I do post a new video. So if you have any questions, my beautiful witches, obviously feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. You can send me a DM on my Instagram at Witch of LA. I will leave that down below as well. And yeah, that is pretty much it, my witches. I hope wherever you are safe, you're comfortable. We're almost out of this. I feel like ever since the whole COVID thing, things have just gone out of whack, but I feel like we're starting to come out of it. So continue to be safe, continue to take care of yourselves, my beautiful witches, and I will see you next time. As always, blessed be.